Peace and blessings of God be on you. Question 12. What are miracles and how do we logically explain them? The concept of miracles is present in all the major religions of the world. But because over a period of time, since the teachings get forgotten, as we demonstrated in the question where we logically explain why there are so many religions in the world. So with the passage of time, as the teachings, the true teachings of a religion get lost, and this is a destiny of all religions. So as time progresses, people tend to forget the true meaning of many of the religious teachings. And one of them is miracles. So common concepts that are known about miracles today are very different from those that were presented by the very prophets who introduced us to the concept of miracles under guidance from God. So let us first understand what miracles are. Most people think that miracles are against the laws of nature. But a careful look at this statement reveals the inherent flaw in it. Laws of nature are nothing but laws of God. So why would God go against his own laws? Therefore, the first thing that should be remembered is that miracles are never against the laws of nature. Miracles appear to be against the laws of nature, but in reality, they are either those laws of nature which are known to the people of that age, or they are laws of nature. So if they are laws of nature that are known to people of that age, then what happens is that they just act in a remarkable way so as to aid the people of God against the enemies of God. But sometimes miracles are laws of nature which are unknown to people of that age. Sometimes those laws get discovered at a later age. Sometimes they are still unknown even at a later age, as I will explain below. So let us first consider, as an example, the famous miracle given to Moses, peace be on him, when he crossed the Red Sea along with his followers. This incident is known to Jews, Christians, and Muslims. And most of the believers in this miracle think that Moses, peace be on him, tore apart the Red Sea by putting his staff in it, and was therefore able to cross it along with his followers, while the enemy who were following them had no such staff and were therefore drowned. Now, this is a piece of thinking which cannot be justified to any neutral person who is simply trying to find out the truth in an unbiased way. So here is the logical explanation of what actually happened. The fact is that it was low tide when Moses, peace be on him, and his followers crossed the Red Sea. It was low tide in the Red Sea at that point. At that point, when Moses and his followers were finishing up their crossing, the enemy, who were only some distance into the sea, because they had started late since it took them a while to get the news that the believers were fleeing, But while the enemy were still in it, it became high tide, and so the enemy were drowned, while Moses, peace be on him, and his followers had already crossed it during low tide. The lowing of the tide was something that was not known to Moses. The question then arises as to whether this was a miracle at all, and if so, how? The answer is that yes, this was a miracle, and the reason is that Moses, peace be on him, had a revelation from God that he should leave the city exactly at a certain time, along with his followers. Not only did Moses, peace be on him, and his people need to escape while the enemy were asleep, but they also needed a sufficient time gap before the enemy knew of their departure. Realistically or probabilistically speaking, they had extremely little chance of escape because sooner or later the enemy would discover their exodus and would always be able to catch them because of their superior modes of transportation. So God told Moses, peace be on him, to leave at a certain time because God knew exactly when there would be low tide and when there would be high tide in the Red Sea. Moses, peace be on him, had no knowledge of low tide or high tide, nor did any human being of that time. So the miraculous part is that it was low tide exactly when Moses and his followers were crossing the sea, and it was high tide exactly when the enemy were in the middle. If God had not already revealed to Moses that he will save him and his followers, and if God had not told him when to leave, this would not have been much of a miracle because seas do have low tides and high tides. So the tides happening exactly in order to favor Moses and his followers and exactly in order to drown the enemy. And the fact that this was already told to Moses beforehand, together, these two facts make it a miracle. Now, this was an example of a miracle in which a law of nature, that is, high tide and low tide, was used. And that law was unknown to humans of the time in which the miracle happened. But today, it is a known law. The knowledge about tides is much more advanced today. In fact, in those days, it was not only not advanced, but it was non-existent. That's what it made it a miracle at that time. Next time, I will explain a miracle in which a law of nature was involved that is still unknown to man. God bless you.